Okay, so this is my line tracking robot. It has 3 wheels. You can see obviously our left and right wheels there. The third wheel is this little guy right here. So this is not a drive wheel. This just kind of drags behind and rotates freely, but it adds stability to the robot. So we're not dragging our butt on the ground. Also, while I got it upside down there, you see we're using 2 motors. So we got a left and a right motor there, being driven by little microcontrollers, or motor microcontrollers there. Motor controllers? Microcontrollers? This is a microcontroller. These are motor controllers. Anyways, those are plugged in there. This button right here is just a go button. So like when I turn it on, we'll be in standby until I hit that button, right? So that's just the go button. The kind of big part of it though is these sensors up front. These are the VEX line trackers, and I got them mounted so they're just barely. It's kind of hard to tell up here, but they're going to be just barely scooting above the ground, so they're getting pretty close, pretty close to the surface of whatever we're on. So we get a nice good reading on those. Battery pack back here. Power coming into the Arduino there. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. As for our track, you see it down there. So I'll start that line. I don't know, arbitrarily in my mind that's been the start line. I suppose it could be any line, but start line, then we'll kind of work our way around, and we'll stop again there, and it'll keep track. So the LCD will. I'll show that now. I'll show that. So just to kind of show you, so you see we're on standby. I'm going to hit that button, so we'll be moving forward, and it's also going to track the amount of cross marks we found, right? So you can see if I start to drift this way, oh, we have to adjust. If it's like there, we have to adjust right. So it's going to say adjust right. And if we're like that, we're going to be going forward. If we're kind of like this, it's going to say adjust left, and then the robot will turn left, right? And then when we cross over a mark, I did it kind of janky. Let's see if I can, because it says 4 right now. It should not say 4. It should say 1. Let's just kind of restart that, see if we can get that to show correctly. There we go. So you see I dragged it across, and marks found are 1, right? Okay, so that's pretty much the LCD operation. And how about a demo? Yeah? Actually, one thing before we get to the demo, I did want to go over the code just a bit. Again, this will all be posted in the lab, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but you can see we are just, setting up the LCD here. Got our variables being declared in the beginning, void setup, setting up the LCD. A lot of this is going to be pretty similar to the last robot. Attaching the motors. Okay, so I set up my functions here. They're a little different than the last robot, although they're mostly the same. Just slight differences. I don't need the delays anymore, so I took those out. See, we're adjusting left and adjusting right instead of turning left, turning right. Got our forward, stop. Didn't need the last robot had a turn 180 degrees. Didn't need that. Took that out. Okay, now this is getting down to the good stuff here. So, sensors, right? So we got our left sensor and our right sensor. Those are analog readings going there. Once we hit our button, so our start button here, it's going to kick off this, set robo go to 1. If robo go is 1, we're going to be in this while loop. And the while loop is what's going to do most of the work. I just got a bunch of if statements, checking conditions of the sensors. So depending on what the sensors are reading, will change what the robot does. You can see in the head set them all up with functions, so I don't have like a ton of code here, which just helps keep things clean. And here's our mark counting one, and at the end, track our marks, and full stop will set robo go to 0. And by setting the robo go to 0 there, forces this thing to jump out of the while loop, and we'll just be back up in here, ready to start again. So yeah, that is the code really quick. Time for our live fire test. Got a robot standby ready to go. Got our track. Gonna hit the button and see how we do. All right, so we made one full circuit around. We stopped at the same point that we started at, and our screen should say, yep, stopped, and we found 4 marks, and we did. So there's 4 marks. We found all 4, and then we stopped. That is the line tracking robot.